Can you see the OneNote?
Yes, sir.
Right. So we know that what is yield to maturity one. So if we have a cash flow, right, and we know that if the price is P and the cash flow is C1, C2, till CT, then we will look for a value of Y such that the discounted value, net present value, will become 0. Right. So let's start with a small example, then we will next move on to that. Suppose, right, there is a 5-year bond. So T is 5 years. Price is also 100 and face value is also 100. Right? And coupon rate is 5%. So you can infer from this is yield to maturity will also be a 5%. Why? Because the face value and the price is same. Am I right?
Yes.
So I would write this expression as let me write the complete expression so that it will be easy. So now what will happen if this Y changes, right, or the interest rate changes? Then the price would simply be, let's say that instead of Y it has become Z. Then price won't remain to be 100, but it would be a different value depending upon what is the value of Z. Now tell me, what could be the minimum possible value of P and what could be the maximum possible value of P?
So minimum can be 125.
So the minimum can be?
So when Z is 0, so that
Minimum would be 0.
so maximum would be 125.
Yes, minimum will, P will be 0 if Z is tending towards infinity, and maximum P will be how much? 125 if Z value is become 0. Do you agree with this?
Yes, sir.
All of you, do you agree with this? That the minimum would be 125 and maximum would be 125 and minimum will be 0.
Yes, sir.
So let's draw this one. The graph would something look like this, and it will tend towards 0 when this Z value is tending towards infinity, right? So what we are interested here is, as a particular, let's say that the price we are saying is 100, and we know that this price would be 100 when the Z value is 5%. Do you agree?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
With this graph, what would happen if the Z value changes slightly, right? So it has become Z value is either 5% plus delta or 5% minus delta, where delta is a very small change in the interest rate. How we can get the value of P then? How we can get the value of P then if the Z value changes a small amount? Akshat, Ashish, Gaurang, anybody?
So I guess we'll differentiate this equation with respect to Z.
Yes. Anybody else having any other idea?
So same as Gaurang, sir. We'll differentiate it.
Right. So now we have seen, right, this is, if you look here, this is YTM, right, yield to maturity curve with a different value of, what should be the, looking at the price and the YTM one graph. Now, if anything changes, we can look here and try to understand that for the small changes, can we direct, instead of putting, those value here into the original equation, can we directly get that value, that what should be the new price? So basically we are manipulating this graph, right? And the first order derivative, that is called duration. And if you go with the second order derivative, that is called convexity. So these two terms, when it comes to the picture, that what is duration and convexity of a bond, we'll try to understand that we know what would be the, this we have to make sure that this is the graph we are looking at, and we are trying to manipulate or trying to understand that with the small changes in the interest rate, how the price would change. So the duration, what it does is it takes the first order approximation of this graph, and convexity, it takes the second order approximation of this graph or this curve. Are you getting my point? Please raise your hand if you are getting what I'm trying to explain you.
Sir, but how did we understand the duration with first order derivative? Like,
No, this is what is the definition.
okay, because our x-axis is our interest rate basically.
Right.
Okay, so this is definition basically. Okay.
Right. So I come back again, right, and write this equation YTM. Right. So instead of Z now, I'm writing simply Y so that it would be clear altogether. Let's take the first derivative because it's a discrete one. Right. What would be the first derivative? Will the first derivative of this will be this expression? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
All of you. So now the whole this can be written as in a short notation, summation notation, I can write this as this expression where I is varying from 1 to t. Correct? Because we have a single variable instead of partial one, let's start writing dp by dy. Please let me know if I can go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. So now we say correct.
Yes, sir.
Right. So now this all how we calculate the duration. I'll talk about why we are doing it. Now we divide with the p, where p is the price. Correct. So look at here what we are going to do. And what I can write it about p. Can I write p is equal to this, the denominator part?
Yes, sir.
Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Please raise your hand if you have understood. I can write p as a denominator what we have written. Right. So I'm marking, take this part, and this part is called the duration. Let denote duration by capital D. Right. So if you look carefully, this dp by p is now become right. This whole I have written as a y. This whole expression I have written as a d. So it's become d by 1 plus y times dy.
Yes, sir.
Right. So now let's say that the change is very small. So instead of dy, I'll try to write it as a delta y. So this change is so small that I can actually, instead of dy, start writing delta y. Then delta p upon p I can write this assuming delta y is small. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Correct?
Yes, sir.
So now delta p, what will be the change in the price? It will be p times the whole expression here. This would be the change in the price. If YTM has changed by delta y. So the new price I can actually calculate as p plus delta p, where delta p has come from this. This is what is the duration mathematically. Look at this one. If anybody having any doubt, please ask.
Sir, here delta y is a very small change in interest rate now.
Yes.
Then only we are actually able to write this expression in terms
Right.
of result.
Right. We will see that this if delta y is large, then the actual value which is coming is the error would be very high, and in that case we go with the convexity. So there are two different understanding from the duration and convexity. One is from the risk perspective, and another is mathematically we are trying to understand that whatever the graph we have got, we are trying to do the first order approximation and second order approximation to calculate what should be the new price if YTM has changed by a certain amount.
So what does duration imply here? In theoretical terms.
What? Come again, Paras?
So what does duration imply here in theoretical terms?
I will talk about that one. Right. I will talk about that one. So if this part is clear, I can move ahead, because next would be to calculate for a particular one, and we'll try to see that what would be the change in the price. Do you agree?
Yes, sir.
Paras?
Yes, sir.
Till this one, everybody is, if it is clear, then let's talk about what are the major risks in bond. Now we'll try to understand what do we mean by the what are the major risks in the bond?
Maturity risk, default risk, then reinvestment risk, and also interest rate risk.
Right. So interest rate, I can simply write it as the price of a bond. So if interest rate is changing, the bond price is changing. Ashish?
Yes, sir.
So instead of writing interest rate, let's write it as a, it implies same thing. And one is that, cash may not be paid, which is the default risk. So I'm writing in a very simple term that if the default has occurred, the cash may not be the one thing which will be paid. This is the two risks we are looking at from the expression. Okay. So this is how we will try to describe using the duration, and this duration plus convexity both. It cannot be only the. So sir, if I go with the duration expression, correct? If you remember here, try to see this one. What it is saying. So let me write the duration expression here. Yes, somebody was asking something. Please ask.
Yes, sir. Sir, cash may not be paid, sir. That means, sir, that 5 rupees that each year we are getting, that cash may not be paid. That you are pointing out.
It has become defaulter. So the person who has issued the bond has no money to pay you. That is what is the meaning.
Okay, sir.
Look at this expression, correct? Instead of this price at t is equal to 0, we are assuming that it is fixed, correct? Price is fixed. So we only thing which we have to look from the numerator perspective. What numerator is talking about? Can somebody say that?
Weighted average of cash flows multiplied by the time. So
Yes. This is what does this mean? Duration would be higher if numerator is higher, because we are assuming that the price to be remains same. Is it okay, Paras? What a statement I have made.
Yes, sir.
Now look at this one. If cash flow is occurring quickly, right? So you think about the return is happening quickly, right? Will not my duration would be less?
Yes, sir.
Paras,
How,
think
sir?
about it. Yes, Akshat.
Sir,
Sir, I didn't get it, sir. Like how?
Right. Okay. Suppose that we look at for a 10% return bond, right? Akshat, is it okay?
Yes, sir.
10% return bond. If price is 100 and if both the one bond is paying you 10 and then 110,
Okay, sir.
and another bond is not paying any intermediate payment, but rather it is paying you at the end of the year 2.
Okay, sir.
So this amount would be how much? It's 121, I guess, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If I try to calculate the duration for this one, let's say this is bond A and this is bond B. This is equivalent one because at we look for the 2 years perspective, both of them are giving me 10% return.
Yes, sir.
Yes or no?
Yes,
If I have to understand, let's try to see that this is t is equal to 0, this is t is equal to 1, and this is t is equal to 2. Now, assuming a flat interest rate, what I can do is t is equal to 1, which whatever I have get 10 rupees, I can invest for one more year and my return would be 11 rupees. Yes or no, Akshat?
Yes, sir. Yes,
So
sir.
total will be 121 because 110 we have got here, 10 we have got here, and 1 rupees I have again if I invest 10 rupees for one more year. So 121, this is again a 10% return bond. But if I try to calculate the duration for bond A and bond B, which one would be higher? Try to look at this expression and tell me. For us, that would make clear. Yeah, I'm waiting for your response.
I could not think of it directly.
Okay, then calculate this one. Then you might be able to relate. Ashish, can you relate directly and can you explain how you have related directly?
So we are getting 100 in t is equal to 0 and 10 in t is equal to 1, right? And 110
No,
in
this is you paid, right? So now these are the two returns. Is
So I
equal to
think option A will have a lesser duration as compared to B because we are getting one payment before the final one.
So simply say that I would be 1 here for A, 1 into 10 divided by 1.1 plus second would be 2 into 110 divided by 1.1 square. Here it will be directly 2 into 121 divided by 1.1 square. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So this I
Yes,
is
sir.
multiplied. I is multiplied that how long you have waited. This I is already there. So if there is no intermediate payment, right, the duration would be higher. So I can simply say that this would be more as compared to this when I'm comparing these two.
Second duration is more than the A1. Yes, sir.
Right. Why? Because this I term is already there. If you look ICI, we are multiplying.
Yes, sir.
Is that how long I have waited for the cash flow to occur. If my cash flow is occurring quickly as in A as compared to B, my duration is definitely going to be lower if I get the intermediate payment either in terms of a larger sum or in terms of time if I'm getting more payment. Paras, are you getting this point?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Got it.
Anybody having any doubt? Please ask.
So, like for the same return, if the duration is lower, then it will be beneficial for us, right?
No, it means that some payment is being done, so the risk is less.
Yeah, risk is less. Thank you.
Sir,
So
risk
the-
is less, but B would be better, na sir, because we are getting more money like at the end.
No,
Like
we are getting equal money here. How we are getting more money?
Sir, 121 in case of B, and in case of A also, the whole sum will become 121 only. Okay,
I mean,
then
let's try. Let's try. If I put this 10 rupees for one more year, how much it will become? With the 10,
11.
with the 10% interest rate?
1 rupees.
11 rupees.
Yes. What is the total sum?
121.
Because you have opportunity to invest this 10 rupees, which we are not looking from the in this bond. But try to understand that this 10 rupees you can again invest. And that's what is the assumption here, that you can again invest somewhere where you can get 11 rupees. So the total sum is become 120.
Then sir, A would be better, sir, because risk will be less. We are getting at least
So
some
the
money.
duration talks about is that how quickly your sum of the amount you are getting. Sarthak.
Yes, sir, got.
So please ask if you have a doubt, because I try to explain you technically what is the meaning of duration.
So, what if the interest rate differs for two different bonds? Will the duration get affected?
What if
Sorry, yield to maturity. If yield to maturity for two different bonds are different,
to maturity, when we are comparing duration, right, what we are going to do is we are comparing between the two bond, yes or no,
yeah.
with the same return and the same maturity. If it is not, then definitely, I mean, the bond which is a higher maturity will be having a slightly more duration as compared to the other one. So when we talk about the duration of the, we generally try to say that in terms of that, what is the risk associated with us? Are you getting my point? Yes or no? So when
Yes,
you
sir,
are
so basic,
trying to compare between A and B bond, right? Correct? Let's say
yes,
that there is no interrelation. Maybe if I say that this is 5% and this is 6% return, then I can always find an arbitrage here. Assuming borrowing and lending interest rate is same, and second one is if the short selling is allowed. So other way we can think of, if we are just comparing between the bond A and B and trying to see the duration, definitely the where the duration is less, correct, the bond is being is paying back your amount quickly as compared to the other one, even if the maturity period is not same. Who asked this question?
So it will be Paras.
So is it clear now?
Yeah.
Ashish, is it okay?
Yes, sir, it's all right.
So now we go back with the same expression, right? And I'll ask you to calculate, do you remember the example which I talked about, the first one? This is the example. Try to find it out, the prices when y changes from 5 to 4.5 and 5.5. These are the two values which we are thinking of. So can we calculate the duration?
Yes, sir.
So tell me the duration. So how we do that? Right, to calculate the duration, let's say that no, this is the expression. Correct? Discounted cash flow divided by the price. So let's start with the cash flow, and then you know that at present what is the yield to maturity, and then we also know that what would be the, or we try to calculate what will be the discounted value. So this is for t is equal to 1. Let's try to see. Cash flow is going to be 5. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
YTM is 0.05. So what would be the discounted value? It will be simply 5 divided by 1.05. So the value would be around 4.76. If I go with the t is equal to 2, again the cash flow is 5, YTM is 0.5. And discounted value is how much now? For 2 years you have to take. So it will be 5 divided by 1.05 whole square.
Like 4.53.
Oh, great. Tell me the other values.
Sir, 4.31, like 4.3.
Let me know if if my calculation is wrong. I've approximated it to the to digit. So if I have to calculate the duration, it will be 4.76, basically 1 into. The next would be 2 into 4.53. The third expression would be 3 into 4.31, 4 into 4.11, and finally 5 into and divided by the p value. P value, I know if I sum all together, it will be 100. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Because it's a price, you know, if YTM is same, so YTM and the coupon rate is same, the price would be same as the face value. So what would be the duration here? Total value?
So it's 4.54.
4.5 approximately, let's say that. Correct. You can go and look for what would be the exact value. So when the duration is known, what I have said that now y dash has become 4.4 5. So from 5% it has changed to 4.5. It means that the delta y is now how much? Minus 0.05. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Correct. So what was the expression? Can you look above and tell me?
Multiplied by minus d upon 1 plus y.
So delta p would be how much? P times minus d divided by 1 plus y and into delta y. This was there, right? The price is still 100. Duration is 4.5. 1 plus y is again 1.05 and change in the delta y is minus again 0.005. So that will give you the change in the price. What is the total value here? This is again multiplication.
Sir, I guess 2.14.
2.14. Let's say that going by you. So the new price would be 100 plus 2.14. That is 102.14. Correct. Similarly, you can calculate if delta y is positive 0.005. It means that the y dash this has now become 5.5%. Can you calculate now?
Yes, sir.
So this is all about duration. I hope you have understood the duration. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Please raise your hand if you have understood the duration. So for duration, I'm keeping it here. We'll try to see that, right? So there are two things we'll try to see. First is that if delta y is large, right? First order approximation is not sufficient. That error would be very high. Then we have to go with the second order approximation, and that is called the convexity. Right, so I'll talk about convexity tomorrow, but we'll try to understand one thing. What do you mean by the risk? Right, suppose you have a product, correct, whose price is 100. What would you like? How the price should change so that you will have a profit? Suppose you have a one stock whose current value is 100. You have bought it, now you are owning it. So what would you like to, the price would either increase or decrease, then you will be happy?
Increase.
Should increase.
Increase.
So if the price increase, you are happy, right? What if the price has decreased then? That is the risk associated with this, because you can lose. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Similarly, suppose instead of you are owning it, suppose you want to buy a product, correct, whose current value is 100. You would be happy because you want to buy it later on. Let's say that maybe after 1 month or a 6 months time period, correct? Or you are thinking to buy in the future once. So you would be looking for the price to decrease. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So if it is decreasing, then you would be happy. But if it is increasing, that's the risk. Because you have to pay more. If you are not buying today, if the price is 100, you are waiting for some more period of time for buying it. If the price decreases, okay, done. But if the price increases, then you lose the money. Yes or no? That's the risk. Yes or no, Akshat?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So risk is the perspective. Whether the prices is going up or down depends upon whether you are having it or you want to have it. Whether you want to buy it or whether you want to sell it. So risk is in the half section, right? If you are owning a product, price increases, you are happy. That's not a risk. But if the price decreases, so then you will think that, okay, I would have sold it previously because now I'm selling it at a lower price. So that's the risk is associated with when the price has decreased. But when you want to buy it, the risk is when the price increases. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So risk is the halfway. You can think of what is the current price. If the price decreases, somebody is happy, but somebody is associated with the risk. If price decreases, then somebody is happy, but the other person, I mean, depending upon whether you are buying or selling, there is a risk associated with it. Yes or no? So look at
Yes.
from the bond perspective. Look at the bond perspective. I will again come back tomorrow and talk about the convexity. If for a bond, if you are owning a bond, you have already bought that bond. Correct? What would
Yes.
you like to have? Where is the risk associated with this bond?
We would like to ensure that we get the coupons on time.
No, that is okay. I talk about the
So
triple
the
A
market interest rate and so this is one of the risk, and if the company goes bankrupt, that is the second risk.
No, okay. The bank company goes bankrupt. That part we leave out. We assume that the company is going to pay, because when we talk about convexity and we try to calculate the duration, we assume that because the cash flow we are calculating is till the maturity. So we assume that the cash flow is occurring. Right. So what I'm trying to say that interest rate is not in your hand. Yes or no? But which bond you can buy is in your hand.
Yes, sir.
Right. So suppose you already have a bond and change in the interest rate, correct? What would you like to have? Which bond you prefer? With changing the interest rate, the one whose price is not falling so much, you would prefer to have. So I will try to make it understand like this. Suppose you are buying two bonds, correct? Bond A and bond B. So now both are at the price 100. If YTM has changed or interest rate has changed such that this is become 98 and this is becoming 95 with a change in the same market interest rate, which one would you prefer?
So A.
A1.
This we can see using convexity. So I talk about the two risk. I talked about the two risks. Cash may not be paid, that is has been gone, using the duration, and the price of the bond which we will be calculating using duration and convexity. But convexity directly talks about, right, which one is to prefer, whose price change would be would be less if you are owning a bond. So if I talk about A and B, right, if the same amount of change in the interest rate, one price become 98 and one price has become 95, we will see through convexity that is, we will try to understand using the convexity whether whose convexity is more or less, so that we can prefer one bond over the other. Again I'm saying that this is if the price change has change in the interest rate is in the other way around. A could be 102, sorry, and this could be 102 and this could be 105. But I will talk about this one. We will be just talking about the two risk. So when again tomorrow when I will talk about convexity, I will again talk about this. But why I have discussed this one, so that I would like you guys to read the book. Right, I have already discussed from which section this would be covered, so that next class when I'm discussing it will be very clear to you.
So like in the last case, it is like higher risk for higher return.
Which one?
Yes, sir. This A and B, you mentioned 98 and 95.
Right. Again, I'm said that risk is associated with one part. Right. When I'm saying that with the change, let's say this is negative change. Interest rate has decreased. Just a minute.